evening. You're watching Viewpoint here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. It's been 37 days since the Siddaramaiah government took oath in Karnataka, and as promised before elections in the first cabinet meeting, the government decided to implement the 5 guarantees that they made in their manifesto. But is signing on the dotted line enough? The proof of the pudding is in eating it, but unfortunately for the beneficiaries of those schemes in Karnataka, that road is a long one. If one's to judge the Karnataka government and the guarantees and the promises that they made in their manifesto, not many will be impressed as far as the execution of those promises is going. One front after another, the state government seems to be faltering in either implementing these guarantees to begin with or following through on its implementation in a smooth manner. The path which served to be the expressway for the Congress party towards its victory in the states now seems to be riddled with speed breakers, or if I may pun in the context of Bengaluru, riddled with potholes. So what seems to be the trouble? Are these just teething issues, or is this whole plan an ill-conceived one? Add to that the cost to the exchequer. The Chief Minister himself not too long ago estimated the cost of the implementation of these promises to be close to 60,000 crore rupees for just 1 year. Where is that money coming from and at what cost? Before we get into that debate, let me break down for you the hurdles with these 5 guarantees that were announced by the state government. Let's first begin with the Gruha Jyoti scheme. That ensured that there were 200 units of free monthly power to every single family. They could apply for it. Now, the problem with that is that even though you're eligible for that 200 rupee free units, now you will be paying more for the rest of it because power bills have been hiked by 60 to 80%. Coming up next with the other scheme, which is the Gruha Lakshmi one. As far as that scheme went, beneficiaries, which is the woman head of every family, was to be given 2,000 rupees per month. The problem that this particular scheme faces is that there is really no clarity. There is no provision for new female heads. If there are multiple of them, who does the money go to? Shifting focus to the rice scheme, the Anna Bhagya scheme. Remember, in their manifesto, the Congress party promised 10 kilograms of free rice to below poverty line families. There were massive hurdles with that. They couldn't procure the amount of rice that was actually needed to implement this particular scheme. There was shortage, which is why they've now decided to, instead of giving those 10 kilograms of rice, give these people money. The Yuva Nidhi scheme, over 1,000 rupees was to be given to unemployed diploma holders. The problem with this particular scheme is that the scheme comes with certain conditions, ones that was not prior intimated. The fact that it is only applicable to Kannadigas, to domicile members of the state. Next, and perhaps the one that affects every single citizen of the state, or at least those who use public transport regularly. This is the Shakti scheme. Under this scheme, it was meant to empower women, to increase the participation of women in workforce. But the problem with ensuring free rides for women is that clearly there wasn't enough provision made for extra buses. There's extreme overcrowding that we are seeing. There are certain reports of accidents coming to the fore as well. The KSRTC, of course, has come out and denied those claims. But those reports are taking place. Whether it's a smear campaign or whether it's an ill-conceived plan, that's up for debate. Now, there was a timeline that was set by the Karnataka government as to when these schemes were to be implemented, in what way, in what manner, in how many months it was going to come out to. Now, the registration for the Congress-led Karnataka government's Gruha Jyoti scheme, which provides free electricity of up to 200 units, that registration opened up from the 18th of June. So far, over 51 lakh people have already registered for the scheme. But there has been a hike in electricity bills otherwise. That has now ensured that there is some heat on the state government. Because at least as far as trader bodies go, they are now up in arms against the kind of increase in their tariff goes. They also called for a ban not too long ago. Moving on to the Gruha Lakshmi scheme. It's to be implemented from the 1st of July, which is in about 2 days from now. But there is no clarity as to who exactly the beneficiary in that family is going to be. Now, the Congress promised an additional 5 kilograms of rice per month in the election manifesto. That was the Anna Bhagya scheme, like I just pointed out. That too was supposed to be implemented from the 1st of July. But it hit a hurdle because the Karnataka government faced difficulty in procuring this additional rice. The FCI and the Karnataka government were at loggerheads. The rice is not coming in, which is why the state government has now decided that they are going to be providing money instead. They are going to be giving cash at the rate of 34 rupees per kilogram to these beneficiaries. Shifting focus now to the 5th guarantee that the Congress made, the Yuva Nidhi scheme. It was a guarantee to the state's educated unemployed youth that they would get monthly cash by the state government. This was to aid not just their welfare but also of their families. That came with terms and conditions. Those terms and conditions, the fine print, was not something that was announced previously. It would only be open to the domiciles of Karnataka, only to Kannadigas. That was what was later then announced by the state government. The Shakti scheme, through which women can travel for free in non-premium services of state-run buses across the state. That has led to overcrowding. We've seen several of those videos that have now gone viral. Allegedly, there have been accidents that have taken place as well, unfortunately, due to which there have been injuries. So what exactly happened in the last 37 days and prior to the elections in the run-up when these promises were made? Did the Congress government underestimate how mammoth this task was going to be? Did they bite off more than they could chew? That's the big debate tonight.
Even as women passengers in Karnataka are enjoying free bus rides as part of Congress government's ambitious scheme, the Shakti scheme, the state-run transport corporations are struggling to keep pace and demand as overcrowded buses has become a major cause for concern. Well, I am right now in Majestic, which is a popular bus stop in the Bengaluru, and here you can see in the BMTC bus how people are all very standing with no space and are really struggling as well to find space for themselves.
Out of 25,000 villages, except 300 villages, we have transportation. Every day, 156 trips will be there. Maybe one or two, that's all.
1 crore 10 lakh people are traveling every day in the same number of routes. In fact, it is on record says that there are only 19,300 buses are flying every day, and some people are even trying to say because KSRTC, BMTC, NW and any KSRTC do not have sufficient funds, they may stop another 2,000 to 3,000 buses quite shortly. Meaning to say that number of travelers has increased, number of routes and buses has reduced.
Joining me on this broadcast, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, Vijay Prasad, Bhavya Narasimhamurthy, spokesperson of the Karnataka Congress is with me. Brinda Adige, an activist and a citizen of Bengaluru, is with me as well, and senior journalist B.S. Arun joins me on this broadcast. But let me begin by asking Bhavya Narasimhamurthy, would you, the Congress, agree that this could have been managed better?
You know, a policy of such a stature, which involves 7 crore peoples, opening it up to half the population for free, yes, we have implemented a historic policy. There have been incidences that you're saying, but it was blown out of proportion by the opposition party by making fake videos, and it is all over the news. And whatever you're saying, yes, with the policy, it's always progressive, right? If there are any changes needed, we will definitely bring about the changes that are needed. But we need to look at the main intention of this policy, that is to empower women, to increase their workforce participation. And if you see even the economic development because of that, most of the places, the revenues have been increased, most of the temples and tourist places, the revenue has been increased. Economy-wise, and even the number of people, people traveling, it's only been a huge success, the Shakti scheme.
Sure.
But then, okay, if there are any such things where we can correct and where we can make some modifications to the policy, and if needed be, if the buses need to be added, because Bangalore, whether it is Bengaluru or Karnataka, we have a very good public transport system which was underused before this scheme.
Sure.
Now they are using it well, and as they already know, the public transport PSU was under loss. Now, definitely, if the government is compensating for all the women who are traveling,
sure,
of course that will also not run under the loss. They will be profitable. So we need to look at the bigger picture. And these videos that have been circulated online, made viral through the BJP IT cell, I agree. If there is any such thing, there might be one or two cases like this. That doesn't mean we can disregard the whole importance of such
No
a
one is trying to disregard the intent behind these promises that were made and the implementation. All I asked you was that could this have been managed better? Could the execution have managed better? And I'll tell you why I'm asking you this. Because as far as this particular scheme is concerned, I'll tell you why I'm asking you this. As far as the Shakti scheme is concerned, there has been at least a 23% increase in the number of commuters as far as these buses go. But the fleet size remains the same. How could the government, how could the Congress party not have anticipated this before they made the decision, before they decided to implement it?
So the 23% increase in what is that you mentioned? Please, can you please repeat that?
This is as far as commuters go. There has been a 23% increase as far as commuters go, irrespective of the gender. But this is after the implementation of the scheme.
There are two things. Yes, the commuters have increased. There are two things. It's mostly during the weekends where they want to go to some tourist places. They're not the regular travelers. When it comes to the regular travelers, I don't think there is much difference in that. Mostly during weekends and sometimes even during weekdays. And this is the beginning of the policy, and I'm sure everybody is excited to go to some tourist places. I don't think this 23% you are speaking about is permanent. And it's not going to remain the same or uniform for a long time. The policy has been implemented only some 20 days ago. And that's the reason many footsteps or how we count it, head counts have been increased. I don't think this will remain constant for us to make any permanent changes to that. You know, people are excited, women are excited in groups, in their friends group. They're going, visiting places, you know, which they had not explored.
So these are the teething troubles. This overcrowding is not going to stay, Vijay Prasad. And if it does stay, then the Congress says we'll course correct.
See, couple of things have come out on this things. See, Siddaramaiah's government has become a classic example of ill-planned, ill-conceived government, ill-conceived ideas, wherein they are unable to implement whatever the promises they have made. If you see all the promises that they are trying to implement here, be it Gruh Jyoti scheme or be it Annabhagya scheme, each and every step they are trying to, they are stumbling upon. And Gruh Jyoti scheme came out with a lot of conditions. Initially they said if they take out their page 10 of their manifesto, they said 200 units free. Later on, when they started implementing, they started saying 10 months average. Okay, you cannot use up to 200 units. The person using 100 units, they will take 10% buffer, 110, not more than that. So why did they have to say 200 units in the first place? So that means to say you before the elections you started giving false promises, and when the actually you formed the government, you are going back with those promises and making sure that those promises are not kept. Even though the promises are being kept, they are coming with a lot of riders. So Siddaramaiah, who boasts of 13 budgets and who says been experienced of 2 times chief minister, should be in a position to plan better rather than giving this ill-conceived, ill-planned schemes. So what is he going to prove? So today, as far as the Annabhagya scheme is concerned, Siddaramaiah has proved himself that he is not becoming Anna Ramaiah, he is becoming Mani Ramaiah and Sullu Ramaiah. This is exactly what the Congress is all about. Couple of things in the last since yesterday, if you look into the statement of CM Siddaramaiah, couple of things have come out in open. One thing is, it is for good sake they have accepted that whatever the 5 kg grains that is being distributed to the people through PDS is coming from Modi government through the central government. That they have accepted it. The second thing, they said, page 10 of their manifesto, they said 10 kg free rice. They never said that 10 kg included 5 of the central government. They never said. So they are going back on the promise. Now they are confirming that the people of Karnataka will get only 5 kg rice. Now they are not getting rice, they are getting money instead of the rice. So they are going back on those promises. So what happened to the other balance 5 kgs? Again, the Congress is not sticking up to its promise made before the elections. So This is and the third thing which has come out in open, which Congress has directly accepted,
Sure.
is the DBT. So this 170 rupees, which Congress is trying to credit to the people of Karnataka through direct benefit transfer, which is implemented by the BJP government. So what are we going to tell the people of Karnataka?
Sure.
So are they getting last week?
Sure, I get your point. I get your point that the promises that were made before elections are not the ones that are being implemented. A lot of fine print came to the fore much later, and all of this was only used to win elections. But that did win them elections. Implementation is in its early stages. It's just been a few days. The Congress says, give it some time. Be patient. Stay on with me. Yeah, stay on with me. I want to get in the other two panelists on the debate as well. B.S. Arun, one aspect, of course, is as far as the implementation goes. The other aspect is, where is this money coming from? We have the Chief Minister himself going on to say that this is going to cost 60,000 crore rupees for just 1 year. We have the Small-Scale Industries Minister of the state going on to say that at least in the first year of the Congress's government, there will be some infrastructure projects that will be hit because that money has been diverted for these for the implementation of these guarantees.
Well, Karnataka budget is going to be presented in about 10 days from now. I think it's on July 8th. I think we need to wait until the budget day, when the Chief Minister, who is also the Finance Minister, presents his budget. Yes, 60,000 is a huge number even for a state like Karnataka, which has a total budget outlay of around 3.5 lakh crore. I think there will be, because of the size of 60,000 crore, I think there will be some taxes on the citizens. I think that needs to be expected this time. Also, it would be interesting to know what are the other sources that from which the Chief Minister will raise the revenues, and how many new schemes will be there, or how many old schemes would be hit. As of now, because of the the allegations of corruption are involved, the projects the infrastructure projects that were taken up by the previous BJP government have been stalled. Until that is the one thing that the BJP, the current government, will have to provide money. And for other schemes, it may, and I'm sure it will bring out some new schemes. For that also, it has to produce the outlays. So it's going to be an interesting situation for the Chief Minister as well as for the opposition to see how many schemes would be stalled, how many new schemes would be started, and what is the new burden on the people of Karnataka.
The new burden is what? Yes, the new burden is what many are talking about, and it's not just your political rivals, Bhavya Narasimhamurthy. It's what even the very citizen of Karnataka is wondering. Because we did see an increase in power tariff just a few days after the Congress government came to power. The Congress said that this was nothing to do with us. The corporations are not governed by the state. But it still does end up being a burden for the common man in the state of Karnataka.
Let me give you one fact straight, that the electricity bill, it was increased in April. It was done on May 12th, 1 day before the results, by the BJP government. But it was retrospectively applied from April, the month of April. And today, whatever the electricity bill was, it includes the arrears for the past 2 months. And only after we came to power and we have given a date from when the Griha Jyoti will be applied, then it will be free for the people, whoever deserves it. The second thing, I would like to first respond to the BJP spokesperson when he spoke about our guarantees. First of all, they need to make some things clear to us. Like, they're so confused. They started with, they can't implement guarantees. They have to implement, otherwise we are going to go on street. And we implemented Shakti, we spoke about Gruha Lakshmi, the very first cabinet, full-fledged cabinet. We gave complete, approval for all the 5 guarantees. Then they could not do anything. Then came to Anna Bhagya scheme. Then we had announced 10 kg of rice. We had requested FCI on 9th, 12th. FCI agreed to give us, and 30 the government.
You, sir, talk about what you are doing.
After that, 5 kgs of rice.
We have clearly reported
itself.
Whatever the false promises we have made.
No, let me finish, please. So, then the BJP people themselves, even the spokesperson and the BJP leaders said, why don't you give them the money if you can't provide with rice? If you're blaming central government for playing petty politics, why don't you give them money? And we are doing exactly that. We are going to provide 5 kg of rice and 5 kg worth of money through direct benefit transfer until we can procure rice from any of those rice growing states. We are doing this. We will be, whatever the amount we will be buying from, that much amount per person, we are going to send it through direct benefit transfer. So every guarantee, no matter how much the BJP is trying to play their petty politics, because the people of Karnataka believe in us, they have trusted in us and in our promises, we are making sure that we are implementing it.
Sure,
BJP
but like you said,
BJP has nothing to speak against us. So they are like coming up with these petty politics, like, not providing us with rice when they can provide it for ethanol production.
Sure.
For lesser cost, 20 rupees.
Sure, but
Not
Bhavya, because you said that, because you said that there are other states that will help you procure this rice, I want to also point out that at least 2 states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, have refused to supply that rice to you. Chhattisgarh, which is a Congress-ruled state, has decided that they will supply it as and when it's possible. But look at the transportation cost as one of those things that will add to this. It's just going to be an added burden on the exchequer. And where is that money coming from?
No.
Shouldn't these things have been thought of earlier, is what we're trying to ask.
See, one thing, the Congress...
Mr. Prasad, I'll come to you. Bhavya, go ahead.
In fact, the NCCF has agreed to give it to us for 32 rupees 94 paise per kg. But we have asked it for 32 rupees 24 paise because that is how much our exchequer can afford. Per of rice. NCCF has agreed till 0.94 paise. There are some 70 paise difference is what the talks are going on with the NCCF. The talks are going on with Punjab government as well. So I'm sure somehow we will procure. But until then, since we had promised that from July 1st, we implementing, we are going to transfer the money through direct benefit transfer.
Sure. So we'll take it as it goes. Mr. Prasad will take it as it goes, says the Congress party.
Opposition leader.
The promise was to implement it. That has been implemented now. If there are teething troubles, we'll look at it.
No. This is the classic case of a shoddy mismanagement and shoddy implementation. So nothing short of those words. So Congress has totally mismanaged these schemes, and now states like Chhattisgarh, Punjab, Telangana, Andhra, they have totally rejected these people. Now they are saying that they'll go into the call the tender process in the open market. See, now the next question that arises: what about the balance 5 kgs which Congress had promised? They promised 5 plus 10 kgs. They are giving only 5 plus 5 kgs. 5 kgs they have accepted yesterday that it is coming from the central government, from the Modi government. The balance 5 kgs they are giving the money. What happened to the balance 5 kgs? Are they putting 60 rupees at per kg? Who are they trying to fool? Who are they trying to fool around? Why are they not talking about the balance 5 kgs? See now, and the other main thing which we are foreseeing right now is the mismanagement in the tender process. Now, through the open market, the A1 quality rice was being given at 34 rupees. Now, in the open tender, in the open market scheme, will the same Siddaramaiah government will procure A1 quality rice at 34 rupees and provide to the people of Karnataka? I don't think so. And they call this a tender process. We know the history of Congress, how they are good in getting themselves into this scam.
Sure.
So we have seen in the past.
Sure. So several questions are being raised. Let's not make allegations without substantiating them with any proof. But I will get in Brinda Adige as well. She's been patiently waiting. And Brinda Adige, I want to ask you as a citizen of Bengaluru, the common man, the common person on ground in Bengaluru, do they feel as forgiving as the Congress would want them to feel? That these are teething troubles and we'll overcome them. But in the meanwhile, there may be, your bills might be increased. You might face inconvenience as far as travel goes. But well, we'll try and smooth those issues over a period of time.
Well, the question that you asked just now, I want to also make a point. One is the word that's being used, freebies. I think we should remove that. These are welfare measures and every citizen falling within the various categories and brackets is entitled to it. Now, as a citizen, do we feel frustrated because, like you mentioned, and all of the discussions that happen, buses are crowded, overcrowded, students, especially school students and college students, are suffering because it is the time that they need to be going to school and college. The buses are crowded and they go in late. Yes, there is a lot of frustration on the field and citizens are bearing this pain. That is something that the government has to understand, and the spokesperson from Congress must ensure that the CM has to make immediate decisions to this effect. We cannot wait, because you are saying that 1 crore travelers now from 8 lakh, which means your bus fleet has to increase and citizens cannot be put to any kind of trouble, especially the young people, children and youngsters. So that grouse has been there and it continues.
Also,
secondly, you mentioned about the rice. I think this government is about 5 to 6 weeks old. And there is a lot of politics that is going around everywhere. I'm not taking up for anybody, but I want to look at it from a level-headed point of view to say that procure whatever you promised for the citizens of Karnataka. How you get it, what you're going to do, it's not our business. Your job is to make it effective and efficient so that your promises reach the needy person. Here we are talking about the BPL families and they are the most needy. So they are looking forward to that rice and that rice must reach them. So you will have to work on it very, very fast. And a month or a couple more weeks, citizens will keep quiet. After that, they are going to feel frustrated and saying that their hopes were simply raised, and this is unacceptable because these promises were made and citizens believe that these promises are going to be upheld by the ruling party just now.
yes.
Thirdly, you're talking about electricity bills that are being charged to the citizens in retrospect. Who should we blame? I think we need to place the responsibility and hold the government accountable for not talking about it the entire month of April and then giving us the bill with arrears in the month of June. That is absolutely unacceptable. All of us are struggling. And remember, this is the time when people are also paying school fees, college fees. And then when you get an electricity bill that is so bloated, it does pinch pockets. So I hope the people get to know and the government comes out and says exactly when you're going to give the 200 units that you say are going to be free. Do not add riders to it, because that is a hope that citizens like me are looking forward to. You might say that, oh, the middle class, upper middle class doesn't need it. Everybody needs it. When a bloated bill of electricity comes like this, it is unacceptable. Yes, you will have to tax people, but do tax everybody.
Yes.
And I think elected representatives must be taxed more.
Yes, and
because they have a responsibility towards the citizens.
Everybody needs may not necessarily be these schemes. They may be only required for a certain section of society, but what everybody does need is clarity. And that seems to be somewhere missing. That seems to also be one of the issues as far as implementation of these schemes are concerned. Sure, any government, any political party, any administration would have these teething troubles. But why not come clean on them, give some sort of clarity to the people of the state?
You're absolutely right. That clarity is very, very important.
Yes.
Because I think many of us, our BPs went up the day we saw the electricity bills.
Absolutely.
That clarity
is important. B.S. Arun, I want you to have the last word. I'm running short of time. Go ahead, B.S. Arun.
Yeah, there could have been a better explanation of these schemes and as to how they will implement, what are the teething problems and how they are going to overcome these teething problems. But then, as you yourself have mentioned, it's only a few weeks old. I think we need to give more time for the state government to work on these schemes because, when the manifesto came, it was before the elections. They didn't have access to either the statistics, better statistics, or of a discussion with the officials who know better than these politicians as far as the implementation of the schemes are concerned. So I think we need to give more time. And as far as the rice scheme is concerned, it's only the giving the money is only an interim arrangement. The state government has said that it will float tenders for for rice procurement, and once the rice is available, it's going to resume. It is going to start giving rice. I think it's a matter of time before the state government procures the rice that is required. And until then, money is being given, and I think people would not be unhappy with that, because they can buy other grains. I mean,
Sure.
whether it's edible
So it's
oil
not a
or
complete
like that.
lose-lose situation as far as the state of Karnataka goes, is what many believe. These are teething issues. The Congress is confident they will overcome. The political fight continues meanwhile, even as the last person on ground in Karnataka hopes for at least some clarity as far as the implementations of the scheme go. But I thank you all for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective.